For a Roman soldier, the legion was everything: his family, his home, his identity. The bonds formed within the ranks were stronger than blood, forged through shared hardship, discipline, and the ever-present threat of battle. Every day, these men lived and trained side by side, united by a common purpose and a fierce loyalty to Rome. At the heart of that identity was the aquila, the eagle standard, made of silver or gold, wings outstretched atop a pole. It gleamed in the sunlight, a symbol of power and pride, and was the most treasured possession of the legion. Each legion had only one, and the aquilifer who carried it was chosen for his bravery and loyalty. This was not just an honor, but a sacred trust. He was expected to defend the eagle with his life, never letting it fall into enemy hands. The eagle was believed to be the soul of the legion, a sacred symbol of Jupiter, Rome's king of the gods. It was present at every ceremony, every battle, and every moment of triumph or despair. To carry it was to carry divine protection and the authority of Rome itself. The eagle was thought to channel the favor of the gods, inspiring courage and unity among the troops. Soldiers swore their oaths to the emperor and their eagle. This oath was a binding promise, a declaration that they would stand together and fight to the last man to protect their standard and their brothers in arms. Losing it was not just a military defeat, it was a spiritual crisis. The loss of the eagle meant the gods had turned their backs, and the legion's very soul had been torn away. In battle, the eagle was a rallying point, a beacon in chaos. Soldiers would look to it for direction and hope, knowing that as long as the eagle stood, so did Rome. If the eagle advanced, so did the legion. If it stood firm, so did they. The fate of the standard was the fate of the men who followed it, and its movements could turn the tide of battle. Retreating and leaving the eagle behind was unthinkable. A soldier was expected to die defending it. The shame of abandoning the eagle would haunt a legion forever. The loss of an eagle was the ultimate disgrace, a stain on the legion's honor. It was a wound that could never truly heal, marking the legion as cursed and unworthy. A legion that lost its eagle was often disbanded, its name erased from history. The shame was so great that even the memory of the unit was wiped away, as if it had never existed. Survivors bore the shame for life. They carried the weight of failure, haunted by the loss, and often lived in exile or obscurity, shunned by their fellow Romans. For Rome, a captured eagle was a humiliating trophy for its enemies. It was paraded as proof that Rome could be wounded, its power challenged, and its pride shattered. Recovering a lost eagle was a sacred duty, a quest to restore Rome's honor and appease the gods. Entire campaigns were launched to retrieve a single lost standard, and the return of an eagle was celebrated as a moment of redemption and renewal. The eagle was more than metal. It was the heart and soul of Rome's military might. It embodied the courage, discipline, and unity that made the Roman legions legendary across the ancient world. Its loss or recovery could shape the fate of an empire. The story of the eagle was the story of Rome itself, its glory, its struggles, and its undying spirit. In 9 AD, disaster struck the mighty Roman Empire deep within the shadowy Teutoburg Forest, a place that would become infamous in Roman history. 3 entire legions, the 17th, 18th, and 19th, were utterly annihilated, their ranks decimated in a matter of days. Their commander, Publius Quintilius Varus, placed his trust in Arminius, a Germanic prince who had been raised in Rome and served as an officer in the Roman army, never suspecting betrayal. But Arminius secretly united the scattered Germanic tribes, forging alliances and luring Varus and his men into a deadly, well-planned trap. The Romans, weighed down by heavy armor, rain-soaked and exhausted, struggled through the dense, unfamiliar forest, losing their tight formations and discipline. Suddenly, Germanic warriors burst from the trees, ambushing the Romans from all sides in a relentless and merciless assault. For 3 days and nights, the Romans fought desperately for their lives, but 20,000 legionaries perished in the chaos and mud. In utter despair, Varus fell on his sword. The sacred legionary eagles, symbols of Roman honor, were seized as trophies by the victors. News of the catastrophic loss sent shockwaves through Rome, plunging the city into mourning, fear, and widespread panic. Emperor Augustus was devastated, reportedly wandering his palace in anguish, crying out for his lost legions and cursing the day of their destruction. The loss of the eagles was a national humiliation, a deep wound to Roman pride that would haunt the empire for decades to come. The disaster at Teutoburg Forest forced Rome to abandon its dreams of conquering Germania, forever changing its ambitions in the region. The captured eagles became enduring symbols of Rome's vulnerability and ignited a burning desire for vengeance and redemption. The quest to recover the lost eagles and restore Roman honor would define an entire generation, shaping the empire's future campaigns and ambitions. After the death of Augustus, the immense responsibility to avenge the catastrophic loss at Teutoburg Forest fell to Germanicus Julius Caesar, a rising star in the Roman world. Germanicus was not only young and charismatic, but also deeply respected and beloved by his soldiers, who saw in him the hope of restoring Rome's pride. His first challenge was to restore discipline and order among the mutinous legions stationed on the Rhine. Through his leadership and compassion, he won their loyalty and trust, forging a powerful bond with his men. But Germanicus's true mission was far greater: to punish the Germanic tribes, recover the lost legionary eagles, and above all, to restore the shattered honor of Rome. This campaign was not about conquest or expansion, but about vengeance and redemption for a wounded empire. For many of the soldiers, the mission was deeply personal. They fought not just for Rome, but for the memory of fallen comrades lost in the forests of Germania. Germanicus inspired his men with stirring speeches, framing the campaign as a sacred duty to their ancestors and to the future of Rome itself. He launched daring surprise attacks, using fleets to strike deep into enemy territory, catching the Germanic tribes off guard and keeping them on the defensive. His strategy was clear: hit hard, move fast, and always remain vigilant to avoid the deadly traps that had doomed Varus and his legions years before. Above all, Germanicus sought to confront and defeat Arminius, the brilliant and elusive chieftain who had orchestrated Rome's greatest defeat. Now, the stage was set for an epic clash, a battle that would not only decide the fate of Rome's honor, but echo through history as a defining moment for both empires. In autumn 14 AD, Germanicus struck swiftly at the Marsi tribe, catching them off guard. The attack was brutal, a message that Rome was back for vengeance. The raid restored Roman morale and confidence. In 15 AD, Germanicus launched a larger campaign, attacking multiple tribes. During a raid, Commander Lucius Stertinius discovered the eagle of the 19th Legion. Its recovery electrified the army. A piece of lost honor returned. The eagle's return was celebrated with cheers and religious rites. It proved their mission was working and fueled the hunt for the remaining eagles. Germanicus's men were now driven by hope as much as vengeance. The recovery of the first eagle marked a turning point. The Romans pressed on, determined to reclaim all that was lost. In 15 AD, Germanicus led his army to the haunted site of Teutoburg. The forest was a graveyard: bones, broken weapons, and grim reminders of defeat. Soldiers moved in silence, honoring fallen friends and brothers. Germanicus ordered a burial mound for the dead, sharing in his army's grief. This act of remembrance forged a powerful bond between general and soldiers. Soon after, Germanicus learned the Marsi held the eagle of the 18th Legion. He struck swiftly, defeated them, and reclaimed the second eagle. The recovery felt like a blessing, a reward for honoring the dead. With 2 eagles restored, only 1 remained lost. The army's resolve hardened. Vengeance and remembrance now marched together. Arminius felt the pressure mounting. The final confrontation was drawing near. In 16 AD, Germanicus assembled a massive force, 8 legions and thousands of auxiliaries, and a formidable fleet of ships. Supplying such an army in hostile territory was a logistical feat. The Romans built roads, bridges, and fortified camps each night, maintaining discipline and security. But the dense forests and swamps of Germania slowed them down. The Germans, led by Arminius, used guerrilla tactics, ambushes, raids, and hit-and-run attacks. Arminius united the tribes, knowing he couldn't win in open battle. His goal? Wear down the Romans, cut their supply lines, and exploit the terrain. Germanicus needed not just numbers, but strategy and daring to win. The stage was set for a truly decisive showdown. In 16 AD, Germanicus finally faced his old rival Arminius in open battle at Idistaviso, a moment both sides had long anticipated. Arminius gathered a massive force of Germanic warriors, hoping to overwhelm the famous Roman discipline with sheer numbers and ferocity. Germanicus deployed his auxiliaries up front, legions behind, and cavalry on the flanks, a classic Roman trap, perfected over years of warfare. The Germans charged with fury and wild courage, but Roman discipline held firm against the onslaught. At the right moment, the legions advanced in perfect unison, smashing the exhausted German front and breaking their lines. Roman cavalry swept in from the flanks, encircling the enemy and cutting off their escape. The battle turned into a rout. German warriors were cut down as they fled in panic through the woods. Arminius escaped, wounded and desperate, but his once mighty army was utterly shattered. It was a crushing Roman victory, long-awaited payback for the disaster at Teutoburg. The Romans proved their invincibility when led with skill, determination, and unwavering resolve. The path to final victory in Germania was now open before them. Arminius rallied the tribes for one last stand at the Angrivarian Wall, a formidable earthen barrier. Germanicus saw the strength of the position and unleashed a barrage of arrows, stones, and catapult fire. The Germans were pinned down, unable to defend the rampart. Roman legions advanced in testudo formation, broke through the wall, and fought fiercely at close quarters. Germanicus fought at the front, inspiring his men. Once inside, Roman training and discipline prevailed. The Germans were trapped between swamp and sword. Arminius fled. The German coalition collapsed. The victory shattered German resistance for good. Germanicus had avenged Teutoburg, broken the tribes, and restored Rome's honor. The lost eagles and the soul of the legions were finally reclaimed.